Aries, welcome back. Today is November 25th. It's Sunday. I'm doing the reading for Aries for the week. Now, this is the week of Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends. I've been doing ever since I moved here, a little dinner, so be celebrating with you. This is a busy week. Actually, Venus and Mercury are very busy. They make a lot of aspects. The sun is in Sagittarius now. Venus will conjunct Jupiter today, just passing over that galactic center. So Venus and Jupiter is a really nice aspect. If you can go and enjoy in a Sagittarian way. And then Venus moves into Capricorn on the 26th. Now, Venus in Capricorn is very much like, show me the money. She wants to look good. She's interested in financial security. She's willing to marry rich. And she trines Uranus. Okay, so, and since she's ruling that should be an interesting day for finances, creative, like sudden creative thoughts or creative ideas. Or, if you've got a creative project, maybe there's some money that comes into it. It's a nice aspect. It's very much about money and concrete creativity and seeing the fruit. Let's put it that way. Then what happens? Then we have a new moon on the 26th at 4 degrees, 3 minutes, Sagittarius, quincunxing, so an inconjunct to Uranus. So that could also bring some surprises. The Sabian for that degree is a little child learning to walk with the encouragement of parents. Now, we've been talking a lot recently about how we're going to start seeing concrete change. And this is like kind of the kickoff of that. All the work that Jupiter, or all the gifts that Jupiter has been bringing us over the course of the year before he moves into Capricorn on the 3rd, the 2nd or the 3rd. As he's leaving, the new moon in Sagittarius is going to start showing you all that process was for, right? So all of the stuff that we'd studied over the past year, we're now going to start seeing results. Now, we obviously take for granted how complex of a process walking is. But it takes the coordination of a lot of systems, the first of which is actually the decision to walk. So we send signals to our brain that say, I want to walk. And then there's balance, there's equilibrium, there's muscle strength, there's all sorts of things that have to force, there's all sorts of things that have to work together to get you walking. And when we see little children doing that, one of the things that gives them the energy or the mental desire to move forward is the encouragement, obviously, that they reach from their parents, or that they receive from their parents. In this case, I believe that the parents in question is the universe, or things around you may actually be your parents, could be elders, your mentors, anyone who you sort of consider as being your guide right now, it could be anybody, friend, will start to give you the encouragement that you need to take those first steps. Okay, then Mercury is direct now in Scorpio. He has a couple of aspects, all positive. He trines Neptune, which on the 27th, which is good for sort of psychic insight. And then he sextiles Saturn in Capricorn. So these are all very nice aspects. It looks like, astrologically speaking, this should be a very pleasant week. Since Mercury and Venus are very active, I thought I would do, for the personal readings, some cards from my Mercury deck. And I'm calling this one because it's like all pink, but it's concrete. So in terms of its advice. So this is kind of like my Venus and Capricorn deck. So I'll pull 3 of these and 3 of these and put them down here. You can choose which pile speaks to you. As you can see, I've been shuffling this one for a while. I shuffled this one before also, but I'll do it again while we're talking. And then we'll get started. Not taking the ones that flip over, obvi. Anyway, as I said, should be a relatively pleasant week. There's not, there could be a teeny bit of surprise around the new moon. But it might actually be, I'm thinking that since that it's trine Uranus in Venus, or in Taurus, with the Venus in Capricorn at that time, there may be some sort of financial or creative encouragement, right? So you may get some sort of very concrete, could be from a female, could be about money, could be creative, but there should be some form of encouragement that comes in at that new moon that gives you the energy and the impetus you need to keep going with whatever it is that you've been working on, this sort of new path where you've been taking steps to walk a new path. So that should be good. Actually, this one came out, so I'll do it too. There we go. So we'll read these later. Now let's get started with the rest of the reading. Here we go. Can I get the energy, please, for Aries for the week of November 25th? Aries energy for the week of November 25th. What energy can Aries expect this week? Ooh, hold on. Ooh, I love it when this one comes up. And there we go. So you remember I was saying you might see some financial confirmation that all your hard work is coming to fruition. Now, we got this card a few weeks ago, and it was about making the choice, right? You can be the guy who's like, ah, shit, I lost my coin, and goes home and gets drunk. Or you can be the one who's like, I think I might be fishing for gold if I sit down here and patiently wait until I discover something. So before it was kind of about the choice of which one of these energies you wanted to embody. I have a feeling that this week is when your magnet that you threw down here hits gold, right? Or you discover that actually, yes, you were right. There is something underneath there. This guy may suddenly realize that, shit, as he sobers up, which is Venus in Capricorn, gets, she wakes a hangover after the party. He realizes that, oh shit, he lost his money in there, and it's best if he applies this strategy. So nice. Okay, let's get something else. Back with my challenge deck. What are the challenges for Aries for the week of November 25th? Challenges for Aries, week of okay, 9 of Pentacles. Ripeness. So yes, about very clear message about things coming to fruition, when to pick things off the vine. So the challenge may be in the offer. It may be in knowing when to pull the fruit off, or if you're supposed to leave it on a little bit. But as far as things coming to maturity, that's a pretty decent challenge card. Now let's get this one, which is, I want to use this, hold on. Although I'll show you that one because it's interesting. It was the building blocks one, which is a 28. It's a 10, 9, 10. Abundance is an 8. So we have an 8, a 9, and a 10. About how all this is progressing to build that next level, right? And you've been working on it for so long, and it's finally starting to take form. Now, let me get, since that one fell without me asking, let me ask one more time. Why is the energy of the week? Why is this the energy of the week? Why is this the energy of the week? Ooh. Oh my God, this was the card that was on the bottom. I was like, do I take it? Do I not take it? And there it goes. And there's another one that fell on the floor, which let me get. Okay, and this one, okay, so this is interesting. This is also a 9. Come to the edges, right? It's like about being ready to jump off. So now we have here this deep knowing, which is a 7. Okay, so we have a 7, 8 for abundance, 2 9s, and a 10. So it's all about, this week is all about finally starting to feel ready, getting signs that yes, there is what was underneath, right? There's that Scorpio energy, Mars and Scorpio now too. That what was underneath is now starting to give signals, like physical signals. So it's not so much about having to sense anymore, you know, so you're coming out of a period of sensing that there was something else to a point where now it's like you can take that step because you're actually starting to see that things are building you a stable base, right? So you now have a stable base from which to jump off from as a result of your sort of trust in this process. All right, now let me get one more card. I'm going to use my deck. One more card for what questions we should be asking ourselves this week. What are the questions we should be asking ourselves this week? What questions should Aries be asking itself the week of November 25th? Nope, sorry, that must all slipped out. What questions should Aries be asking itself the week of November 25th, 2019? What reflections, sorry, what reflections should, there we go. I'll take the top one. And there it is, the laurel. Now, as this card says, so the keywords here are new levels, success, achievement, or victory. It is customary in Europe to give a wreath of laurel at graduation from university. Oh my God, we were just talking about university. How funny. A symbol of achieving a milestone in higher wisdom. Laurel wreaths were also customarily given to knights returning triumphantly from battle or athletes who had victoriously surpassed other challengers. The laurel is a symbol of a milestone of achievement, a symbol that you have crossed over into new terrain. However, it's also said that we must not rest on our laurels, signifying that they are not the final destination, but more of a formal encouragement. Love it. Am I allowed to say that if I wrote the deck? Anyway, when you see the laurel, you may rest assured that you are on the right path, but there is definitely still more to go. Okay, cool. So this is all really speaking together nicely. Let's then go into, I don't think I need to explain. Oh, well, I didn't do tarot, but you know what? I'm going to skip it because I wanted to spend more time here anyway. These cards are so clear. I don't really think it's necessary to pull any tarot cards. Story seems clear to me. So let's start, like I said, since I have like double on these, I want to spend more time on them. Let's start with this pile here. Okay, so these are messages from Mercury and messages from Venus for the week. So Venus is asking this pile to reflect on your truth, and that's also a 9. And the message from Mercury is the dictionary. So communication. So let's see what, oh, so interesting. Reflect on your truth and the dictionary. So there's something perhaps in your definitions that needs refining, or perhaps you are in the process of redefining what's true for you. So let's see what this one says. This says, you are overthinking things. Stop trying to analyze every conversation, every word, every thought. It's time to shift from the control of the logical and analytical left brain, which is not a fallacy, by the way. That whole thing about left brain analytical, right brain creative is not true. That said, continuing, and explore the creative, intuitive right brain, which will help you find clarity, inspiration, and peace of mind. This may be, for those of you who picked this pile, on the 27th when Mercury trines Neptune. Perhaps you want to tune into your mental abilities there, because psychically you'll be very much on point. And since it's also sextiling Saturn the same day, anything that comes through to you in terms of intuitions or psychic feelings, communications, will also be very grounded in practical reality. So the communications that should be coming through to you, which maybe it's part of trusting, right? This was the thing that we were saying, that in order to build, you had to first trust and want to move forward. So through this process of trusting, perhaps you're looking for so much confirmation that it actually is more of a intuitive process for you here. So let me continue. This message also serves as a reminder to listen to others, particularly when they are offering help. Be careful not to dismiss advice, for it often comes as an answer to your prayers. You are like a closed book, and people find it hard to read you. It's time to open up and share your thoughts and feelings, as this will bring greater understanding and deeper meaning to your relationships. So the divinatory meaning said, listen well, as important words, be they spoken to you by a friend or stranger, or written down and placed before you in a note or card, will point you to your next step. Interesting. Try to understand someone else's point of view. Meditate to quiet your mind. Speak with confidence. Your life purpose involves writing and public speaking. Okay, interesting. So perhaps that truth is through, or maybe do like a creative writing exercise on the 27th when Mercury trines Neptune. One of those just like data downloads. It may be that you got a download during the galactic center conjunction, and it's having a hard time taking shape, like materializing. And if you channel it through words, maybe that will help you sort of reflect on the truth of the words that are being written. That's another message that just came through. So hope that is clear. Let's go to this pile. So Venus is asking you to engage higher reason. And the Mercury card is the Wheel of Fortune, fate. So let's read this. I've never gotten this one before. This sounds to me a little bit like that in conjunct with Uranus at the new moon. So the Wheel of Fortune can raise you high or bring you low, right? It said engage higher reason. So this is one of the ones like take the high road, higher learning, higher education, whatever the next level of whatever it is, that's where you want to be. So you may feel like the luckiest person alive when all is going your way, but when a blow strikes, it can feel like the end of the world. Now, the Wheel of Fortune asks you to be completely indifferent to both victory and defeat. If you live by this rule of acceptance, you will master the teachings of fate, who can be both an unjust and cruel goddess, as well as a fair and generous one. Get your reactions in check and realize that the wheel has spun you into lessons designed for your learning, understanding, and spiritual growth. When you envy someone else who rides high, know everything can change with a spin of the wheel that propels you to the same dizzying heights. Okay, so this one says, jealousy and envy are useless emotions. Your turn will come. What goes around comes around. It's how you deal with an outcome that's important. There are lessons to be learned. This is part of your soul's journey. Enjoy the ride. So here, engage higher reasoning, or engage higher reason, and I had said like to take the high road. If you're having some sort of like interpersonal debate or some kind of fight wakes up at a Thanksgiving dinner, stick with the universal law of what comes around goes around, treating people the way you would want to be treated. is there another way to look at what's happening? That which goes up must come down, and vice versa. Only place to go from being down is up. This is a 4 energy, so and this is the, has the 4 corners of the direction. So it's very sort of foundational in its nature. It's very practical energy. So I would say this one is kind of look at the practical aspects. Like this goes more into the Mercury in Scorpio transit. This one is very much channeling that Venus in Capricorn, right? And Venus in Capricorn can be a little bit envious. So you might want to take a sort of like objective approach to those kind of feelings. Let's get to this one. So this says, be patient. It's 18 and 9. So we got 2 9s here and a 4 in the middle. And then the Mercury card is the tarot with guidance. And let's read what this says. Sorry, here we go. Dramatic pause. So the tarot represents a life quest, and receiving this card lets you know that you are being called to your own quest, which was the card that we got in the last reading. It's time to leave the comfort of your everyday life and do the unexpected. Don't play it safe. Instead, take up your sword and swashbuckle onward, daring to explore every avenue. Don't be fooled along the way, for appearances can be deceptive. Instead, trust in the guidance of the tarot, which will map possible pathways for your personal growth. And insight, and will point you towards your very own holy grail, right? Which is that. Once armed with this information, go seek adventure. You will discover a you that you didn't imagine existed. So it's time for these people. It's time to leave your comfort zone. Your life mission awaits you. Learn the ancient art of reading tarot cards. Consult a tarot expert for guidance. An unexpected offer will be made. Okay, so this sounds very much like that. This could be the new moon trine Uranus here. New moon in conjunct Uranus. So kind of like one set for each one of the key transits. So if you've been stuck, or just feel like things aren't moving fast enough, like they're not ripening at the speed that you want them to, guidance is coming. But this also, it suggests that in order for this to, this has to happen for this to, you have to be willing to fruit from the vine. Otherwise, it actually, it goes bad while it sits on the vine. And it was kind of like what I was talking about learning to walk, is that the very first piece of learning to walk is sending your brain the intention that you want to, and then taking the steps, right? So this one is very much about taking the steps. This is about this kind of like leveling up energy, right? Like in any situation that comes to you this week, particularly on a spiritual plane, you want to take the higher energy of that situation, right? It seems like you will be offered a possibility to, every planet embodies a higher energy and a lower energy. It's like Neptune can be where we touch the divine. It can also be alcoholism. So where you are given a choice or where you are confronted with a choice of how to behave, you're being invited to take the higher version of reasoning, right? There may be some situation or something that tries to lure you down to the depths. And this is asking you to rise above it. Reflect on your truth. This is to me a piece of this energy, right? That if you're in a state of analysis paralysis, perhaps there's reflections, reflect on what's been learned, reflect on all that's been studied, but also like what resonates with you on a deeper level. What of all of these words that you've been studying, or advice that you've been taking, and knowledge that you've been acquiring from a very practical level, where does it resonate underneath, right? Like here's where you've been working, but what we're trying to get at is what makes us shine and feel like gold underneath. So this, is this very sort of scorpionic energy here. Hope that was helpful. And these days, this one, your best days here to do this in focus is the 27th. This is more like the 26th. And these are both the 26th, just different sort of energies. This is more the new moon, and this is more the Venus Uranus conjunct or trine. Sorry. To everyone else, it looks like, again, still very nice energy here. We'll start to see some signs that things are moving forward in a very concrete way. And I wish you